With information technology advancement in developed countries, more and more information is being stored and shared online. This information includes credit card information, social security numbers that are private to the workforce, and if fallen in the wrong hands, can be used for malicious purposes. Tom Chatfield, who's the author of Netymology, explains more in details with more stats.
In the few decades since the birth of the web, we've moved from email to social networking to a gamut of online services, storing more and more of our lives in the so-called cloud. The amount of data out there is growing at an exponential rate. In a typical day last year, people sent more than 144 billion emails, shared more than 684,000 items of content on Facebook alone, and uploaded 72 hours of video to YouTube every single minute. 90% of the world's data has been created in the last 2 years. With so much data out there, and so much more coming every day, is it realistic to expect to keep it under our own control? The word clouds is deceptive when it comes to technology. It sounds fluffy and weightless, but what it really describes is a bunker-like room full of computers running physically the data owned by a company and located in a particular country and subject to its government's laws and requests for data. And such centres can also be the subject of digital assaults, although companies will try and keep them safe. And on top of this, there's the fact that all the seemingly trivial details we reveal about ourselves online every day can be cross-referenced and correlated, often to startling effect. A database of trivial details is not a trivial database. I'm going to go now and do a little bit of self-Googling online and see what I can snoop out.
Technology can be detrimental for the working lives of people in developed countries because the current progression of technology is headed towards mobile computing. This may at first look like a positive outcome for employees, but as mobile computing becomes the norm, so is the expectation of instant responses. This can come in the form of managers expecting emails to be responded immediately, or bugs reported by customers to be fixed as soon as they're reported. This leads to stress, and ultimately burnout and internal employee churn. So Fortune.com released an article in 2012 that revealed that 72% of IT administrators were stressed. 67% considered themselves switching careers, 85% said their job intruded on their personal life, and 42% lost sleep over work. Another consequence of mobile computing is that employees are increasingly working from home. This overlap of home and working lives can be a great source of stress for employees. The stress can be amplified by deteriorating personal relationships with people in the office as a result from working at home. This ultimately results in decrease in fluidity of team communication as well as effectiveness.
It was discussed earlier that the emergence of information technology has created workplace stress. This is mostly through increasing productivity demands such as faster problem resolutions and the overlapping of work life with home life. On a similar note, I would like to discuss how information technology decreases productivity in the workplace. Essentially, workers are performing less productive work because they are constantly distracted by activities such as internet surfing, social media, and online shopping. In fact, the CEO of Content Watch, which is basically a company that specializes in workplace internet filtering and monitoring, has revealed that 64% of employees waste their daily time doing non-work-related internet activities. Breaking that number down a little further, 50% of that group spends 2 or more hours a week doing non-work-related internet activities, and 21% spend over 5 hours a week. So it's not very hard to imagine that the workplace efficiency is being lost with so much time being misused. It should be noted, though, that respondents have listed insufficient incentives to work harder, non-demanding work, and career dissatisfaction as reasons for slacking off at work. So therefore, it is suggested that companies should make more effort in creating a fulfilling work-life experience instead of creating access restriction policies for their workers.
With new advancements in technology, it has become vastly easy to monitor employees within the workplace. A study done by Communication Workers of America, there have been indications that monitored employees reported higher workload, less workload variation, and greater workload dissatisfaction than unmonitored employees. The monitored employees also showed less control over their job, less fairness of their work standard, and more frequent interactions with customers to be very difficult. Another example is when Bell Canada decided to cut costs by reducing the average time customer service agents spent on each call. Their productivity and quality suffered heavily. The company made keeping calls less than 140 seconds 50% of the agent's performance review. However, this decision backfired heavily, and not only did it stress their employees, but agents began to cut off customers when the questions weren't even fully answered. Employer monitoring has become a big ethical dilemma, from employers potentially viewing personal employee information and not respecting privacy rights. The Privacy Rights Clearhouse website states that at least one court has ruled in favor of employers being violated, and this is the Supreme Court of New Jersey.
The essential challenge which most developed countries have to grapple with is that the rapid technological advancement is displacing millions of workers from their current jobs without any guarantees for many new jobs to be created. Companies have been investing in many labor-saving technologies, in many cases due to rising labor costs, and in other cases because machines are simply cheaper than human labor. And this point is crucial. Technology makes businesses more efficient, often by eliminating the need for repetitive tasks and the workers who do them. We're not replacing those jobs with enough new, higher skilled ones to make up for the loss. Traditionally, productivity growth and the job growth went hand in hand, but that is not the case anymore. Annual productivity growth in the US between 2000 and 2009 was 2.5%, a faster rate than any time since 1960s. Yet, the last decade saw a number of jobs decline by 1.1%. Today, workers in factories are being replaced by robots and software. More broadly, is automating many jobs that people used to do. Companies benefit because they can operate leaner and make more profits. But what about the people? The more sophisticated automated technology becomes, the more precise, rapid, and human error-free it becomes. But commensurately, the less intensive is the need for human participation in technological advances.
Shifting public expectations, advances in digital technology, and the increasing reach of the internet have led to the widespread use of anonymous copyright infringement, which is the act of using works which are protected by the copyright law without permission. Also infringing certain exclusive rights, such as distributing, reproducing, or making derivative works, can also be considered copyright infringement. The advent of piracy has steadily declined sales in various products in the past couple of years, such as music, video games, movies, and books. For example, a 2009 market research study showed that only 37% of the music was bought by consumers. If you look at the online statistics, over 95% of music downloaded online has been through piracy. With the average user's iPod containing about $800 worth of pirated music, the impact of piracy has over sales of online merchandise is evident. Continuing, piracy has also led to the stagnation of the job industry. For example, in the United States, about 71,000 jobs are lost every year due to online piracy. The bottom line is that it lowers the gross revenue of companies, reduces the incentives for developers to come up with creative works. Now, how does this impact working lives of people in developed countries? The development of IT has led to the widespread use of pirated materials, which has resulted in massive job cuts due to the lack of revenue received by the creators for their works.